This is real estate coach Craig Proctor, and welcome to our session today about how to dominate your marketplace, even if you don't have a huge budget. Many of you know my story. I got into real estate with no sales experience, no money, no confidence at all. And only reason I got into real estate is because my father was a real estate agent, and even my dad said, "Don't do it." I said, "Why, Dad, do you not want me to get into real estate?" He goes, "Well, son, you're not really good at sticking with things." And he was right. I dropped out of college. I dropped out of university. I'd never sold anything in my life. But like a lot of young guys, I did the opposite of what my father told me to do, and I got into real estate. And you know what? That first year was very, very difficult because the mistake I made is likely the mistake that you made. We get into the business, and the natural thing to do is we look around at all the other real estate agents, believing that's the way to do it, right? That's the industry norm. Well, a miracle happened. Within 36 months, I was named the #1 Remax agent in the world. I was making millions of dollars a year, and I did that for over the next 25 years. I kept being either the #1 or 2 or 3 Remax agent in the world. So today we want to talk about how did I do that? How did I go from knowing nothing, no confidence, never sold anything in my life, within 36 months, becoming the #1 Remax agent in the world? Okay, and I did this without any money at all. Okay, the first thing I did is, like I said, all the traditional stuff: door knocking, cold calling, sitting in open houses. It was very, very difficult. I never worked harder in my entire 30-year real estate career than I did in that first year, but I also never made as little money as I did in that first year. So a lot of us have a misconception that to make a lot of money, you really have to work hard, and to make millions of dollars a year, that would mean you would have no life. Well, that could be the case if you do this improperly. But what I was able to do is I was able to leverage myself with marketing first, and then systems, and then people. So it was a real business. I mean, that's the only way that you can sell 500 or 600 homes a year, is it has to be treated as a business. As a solo agent, it's only going to take you so far. And eventually, as you probably discovered, you're going to get tired as a solo agent. I think the most I ever did as a solo agent were 55 transactions in a year, which was pretty good, right? But it's not sustainable. That's why we have a lot of real estate agents that come in, they're successful for a little bit, and then they fail because they can do the sprint, but they can't do the marathon. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how did I do it, and most importantly, how you can do it, because I have taught over 30,000 agents how to replicate my success. I've created more millionaire real estate agents than any other coach or trainer or guru out there. So please check in into the comments below. Let me know where you sell real estate. Okay, let me know where you sell real estate, because we have lots of referrals inside of Craig Proctor world that we refer to people that are in our network. Plus, I have a gift for everybody. I am going to send you a summary, if you wish, on market domination. So this is what I'll be covering today, how I did it, and it's a breakdown. And this will be really good for you guys to have. What we'll do is we'll email it out to you. So if you would like this information, make sure you check in. Let us know what city you sell real estate in. And also, if you could just type in market domination, okay? Type in market domination into the comments, and I'll make sure that we send you out this information. I had dropped out of college. I dropped out of university and got into real estate, even though my father said, "Don't do it." So I really had run out of options at this point. I had to make real estate work. You know, I had no other options. How many of you are in that situation now where you need to crack the code? You need to figure out real estate because you don't have any other options. I think that was a really, good place for me to be in, actually, in hindsight, because I probably would have given up. But I had nowhere else to go. My parents had already paid to send me to college and university, and I messed all that up. So I had a high school degree, and starvation is a good motivator. So I started looking around at industries outside of real estate. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to think about is our natural tendency is to look inwards at what all the other real estate agents are doing: cold calling, door knocking, sitting in open houses, doing floor time. But I started to look around at how other industries operate. And I started going to marketing seminars that were not for real estate agents, but they were for business in general. And this one particular conference that I flew to Los Angeles to attend, I was in fact the only real estate agent in attendance. There were like 300 people there, and they'd all paid a couple $1,000s to attend. So what I learned at that conference is that there's gazillions of businesses outside of real estate where they make millions and millions of dollars and no cold calling exists. And that was exciting to me because, like you, I don't like doing cold calling. So what I learned is to get people to call you, you have to have a really powerful offer, right? People aren't going to call you just because you exist. You have to have a reason for people to call. You have to set yourself apart by either what you do or something that you're offering buyers and sellers. And here's the key. You've got to offer them something, number one, that they want, and number two, that they can't get anywhere else. So like you, I was taught when I got into real estate that when I'm speaking to a buyer, the offer I would make is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, if you don't like the property you called on, I can get you access to all the other homes on MLS. I can get you access to all the houses from all the different real estate companies. Well, back in the day, that was an okay offer, but today, many agents are still making that offer. And it's a bit of a lame offer, right? It's a lame offer because buyers know they can get all the information online without a real estate agent. So if that's your big offer to buyers is, I'm going to email you daily updates on the MLS, what the buyer hears is, oh, so all you're going to do for me is something that I could do on my own by going online. The other thing agents might say to a buyer is, I'm a great negotiator. Not only will I find you a home on the MLS, on the internet, but I'm a great negotiator. The buyers today think, well, you know what? Now that I can go online and I can find the house by myself, that's what they believe, right? Whether we agree with that or not, a lot of buyers believe, I don't need a real estate agent to find a home. I can do it on my own. And not only can I find the home on my own, it tells me what real estate agent or company has it listed. So the buyers are thinking, okay, Craig says he's a great negotiator, but maybe I could go around Craig, go directly to the listing agent. I could save more money for me and my family without you. So here's what I want you to start thinking about is whether you're a smaller producer or a larger producer, we can all do better by changing just the words that come out of our mouth. Would you agree? It doesn't cost us anything to have better words coming out of our mouth. So I want you to try this offer next time. When you're talking to a buyer or when you're advertising, instead of advertising just a house, which they easily eliminate, or instead of saying, I've lived in this town for 17 years and I've got lots of experience and I'm a great negotiator and I'll send you the homes that are on the internet that you can find by yourself. Instead, I want you to say this. I want you to say, I can get you access to not only the homes that are available publicly, but I can get you access to homes that are not available to the open public, like unlisted, off-market, distress sale properties, bank foreclosures, new construction closeouts, vacant homes, etc., etc. So what I teach real estate agents is, number one, well, how do I find that information? Obviously, this isn't a scam. We don't want to be telling buyers promising them we can get them information that we can't. So this is the key is to be valuable to buyers. It's our responsibility to know how to find unlisted, off-market distress sales, bank foreclosures, company-owned transfers, builder closeouts, really great deals that are not available to the open public. I think we'd all agree that some of the best deals they sell offline. They're not on the internet. And when you offer this to buyers, they see you as something different and better. How many of you would agree with that? Would that be a better offer? So if you said, instead of saying, hi, my name's Craig with Remax, I can email you all the houses from all the real estate companies, basically the same thing they can get on Zillow or they can get online, right? And you can't even say my services are free anymore, not in the US, right? But you can send a list of properties free. Would you agree with that? You still can do that. Now, before you show them a property, you got to get them signed up, and that's a different conversation. How do I get them to meet with me? What value propositions, plural, what do I need to say to buyers to compel them to want to commit to me in the form of a written buyer agency commission? And how can I negotiate 3 or 4%? You heard me right, 3 or 4%. Oh, Craig, you don't understand. We can't do that. Commissions are fixed. No, I'm your coach. My job is to show you how to get the most amount of money. That's my job, right? That's why real estate agents hire me. How do I get as many clients as possible, Craig? And how do I provide so much value for buyers and sellers that they're willing to pay me more? Now, don't tell me that doesn't happen in your marketplace. If I wanted to hire the best architect, would I pay more money in your city? Of course, right? So what's missing is the value proposition. Okay. Will every buyer you meet with pay you more money? No, but you could always say, you know what, because I really like you, I'll reduce my fee from 4 to 3 or 3 to 2 or whatever you want to do. But would it be better if you had a magnetic offer? So when buyers hear your offer, they want what you have. And then we have a conversation about getting together with them. And then we do this powerful presentation so they actually see the value in committing to you and paying you. Now, of course, in most cases, the buyer's not going to pay us directly. Inside the offer, purchase, and sale, we're going to ask the seller to pay for the buyer commission. Okay. Now, many of you say, well, why would the seller do that? Because they want to get their house sold. That's why. Will the seller do that? Always no. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So that's a different lesson. And if you're not following my page, by the way, please follow me. Okay. Please follow me. And if you like this, if this is making sense to you, may I ask, can you smash the blue like button or maybe give me a little heart? Just click the little heart button there. That gives me some feedback that you guys are enjoying this. But if you follow me, whenever I go live, you'll start to get my information. You probably noticed by now what makes me different than most of the other coaches is I've actually made millions of dollars selling real estate. You probably also noticed that today the qualifications to be a coach is that you've got a social media account and maybe you've leased a Ferrari or a Lamborghini for the day and you get your video shot with your fancy car and now you're called a coach. Whoever your coach is, and I believe you should have one, you should do a background check to find out that this person, this mentor, this person that's telling you what to do has actually been successful doing the thing that they're teaching you to do. That makes sense, right? Because honestly, there's a lot of fakers and pretenders out there in the marketplace calling themselves coaches and gurus. Okay, so back to our lesson here today. Number one thing, if you want to dominate your marketplace, is you have to have a killer offer. So let's go over this killer offer again. This is for buyers. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, in addition to sending you information on all the homes from all the different real estate companies, I can also get you access to homes that are not available to the open public. For example, unlisted and off-market homes, bank foreclosures, just any distress sales, builder closeouts, company-owned or transfer. These are the properties that people want. Now, my service is absolutely free of charge, right? Sending the information, is that free of charge? Yes, we can't go out and start showing them houses without a buyer agreement, but sending them a list of homes is absolutely free of charge. Now, they want this, right? Would you agree we've met the criteria? Number one, we're offering something that buyers want. Number two, they can't find that information on their own. It's not something they can easily Google. It's not something other real estate agents are offering. So this gets you in the door, okay? Now, for sellers, let's talk about sellers. What I was taught to say to sellers, and probably you the same thing, right? We're saying, would you like a free CMA? Well, they don't even know what that is. What is it? Comparative market analysis. What's that? Well, do you want to know what your house is worth? Why don't we just say that? And the problem is when we say, do you want to know what your house is worth? The average seller, you can check it out yourself. If you ask them, where would you go to find out what your home is worth? They'd say Zillow or Realtor or Redfin, right? So this is not a good offer. It's another example of a lame offer. I'm not talking about this like I'm above you guys. I used to do this, right? And I struggled. All I did was I changed the words that come out of my mouth and I changed the words in my advertising and I started offering something that people really wanted. So instead of saying, would you like a free market evaluation or a free CMA, which has little value to the seller because they can find what the homes in their neighborhood are selling for by themselves, here's what I want you to do instead. I want you to say this. not only can I tell you what the homes in the neighborhood have sold for, but more importantly, I can show you exactly what you're going to net in your pocket after all the associated expenses. Let's stop there. Is that true? When you meet with the seller, many of you are already doing this now, right? You would sit down, have a look at the house, sit down at the kitchen table, you go through all the comparables, and then you talk about what the house would be listed at and what it would likely sell for, and then what are the associated costs, right? Well, they might have to pay off their mortgage. There might be a penalty to pay off their mortgage, the real estate fees, legal fees, all those fees we're going to deduct, and we're going to show the seller upon closing, this is approximately what you're going to net in your pocket. So think about how crazy this is. This is something that most of you do. Let me know in comments if you do that anyway. How many of you, when you go list a house, will go through a net sheet? Now, here's another one. How many of you, when you go to the seller's house and you look around at their home, you would give them, you're doing this right now, you would give them your advice on inexpensive things that they could do to prepare their home for sale, right? Not crazy expensive things, but you would suggest like, hey, maybe clean the carpets or replace some of these carpets or paint the walls, neutralize the house, move the furniture around, do a little bit of landscaping. This is something you do. And let me know in comments if you feel you're good at that. How many of you feel, say, I'm good at that. I'm good. I've got lots of experience and I'm very good at sharing advice to my clients, and it makes a difference. Some of these sellers will sell their home faster, and they'll sell their home for $5 or $10 or $15 or $20,000 more because the house is properly staged. We've done these inexpensive things that really make a difference. Now, if you have a look at those two examples, okay, going through the net sheet and giving the sellers inexpensive things that they could do to sell their home for $10,000 more, those are two things that most of us do anyway. But here's the key. After we get to the seller's house, we do that. Why don't we just tell them what we do before we get to their home so we can get more appointments, right? I was making that mistake. I'm doing all this great things after I meet with them, so I flip it around. So my offer today to sellers, instead of saying, would you like to know what your house is worth? Would you like the free evaluation? Would you like to know what the house is selling for? And then having the seller say, no, I'm good. I have the internet. I can go onto Zillow or Redfin. I can get all this information on my own. And they say goodbye and they blow us off. Instead, we're going to say this. Not only can I get you information on all the home sales in the area, but most importantly, the most important number to you is what you're going to net in your pocket. Now, I'm happy to go through a net sheet to go through all the associated expenses when selling your home. They're like, they don't know what the associated, that's not something they can Google. They don't know what the associated expenses are. So I can go through a net sheet and we can discover exactly what you're going to net in your pocket after all the associated expenses when selling your home. And here's the one, say, and we also will look through your home and give you inexpensive tips, inexpensive things that you can do to sell your home on average for $10,000 more. Meeting with me is free of charge and you're under no obligation to do anything. Boom. All I did was change the words that come out of my mouth, and next thing I know, I'm selling hundreds of houses. Let me know in the comments, is this making sense? You see how easy this is? So what happens next is I start getting appointments and I start getting listings. And that also builds my confidence, right? Because I had a confidence problem. I would meet with buyers and sellers and the inner voice in my brain was saying that they're not going to do business with you because I wasn't confident in what I had. I wasn't confident in my offer. I wasn't confident in the services and programs that I had. So not only was I getting buyers and sellers calling me, so I never had to cold call again, but when I met with the buyers and sellers, they wanted to do business with me versus all the other agents. Now, I became so good at the presentation when I met with the buyers and sellers, I was able to start negotiating a higher fee. I'm like, well, this is fantastic. Not only do they want to do business with me and only me, they're willing to pay me a premium. Now, whether you believe this is true or whether you believe it's false, like, you will be right. If you think, well, first of all, my public my track record's very well documented. Okay, I was the #1 Remax agent in the entire world, and I kept doing that year after year. The other thing that's well documented is that this your success is completely duplicatable on my success. What I mean is, what I'm talking about today, do you notice how it has nothing to do with Craig Proctor, the person? When I started coaching agents, this was the big epiphany that I had is my success had nothing to do with Craig. I'm like, I don't have a silver tongue. I don't have millions of dollars. I don't have born into a rich real estate empire family. I'm just a guy that failed at everything else and got into real estate, right? So what I did is I started teaching other agents, sharing what I was doing, and they were starting to get the same results. Can you see how this applies to you? No rocket science, right? So this is a free little training that I'm doing here. Didn't cost you guys anything to be here. Now, notice how I also just gave you a really good presentation. Smash the like button or give me a little heart if you think this has been a great presentation. And this presentation cost me $0. And it also cost you $0 to watch. But think about what I've done here, because there's a lesson to be learned. I didn't cold call you, or I mentioned if I called you, said, hi, this is real estate coach Craig Proctor. Would you like to know about what I do? You'd hang up on me, right? I got you to come to me. You're still watching this, which means you're interested, right? And how many of you sort of feel like you know me a little bit, right? You've got a feel for my personality. And some of you will eventually become clients of mine because you met me here today. Now, some of you have been pixeled before. All of you are pixeled now. So you've watched this and social media knows who you are. So you'll start to see me all the time. Whether you like it or not, you're going to start to see me a lot. And some of you will consume more of my content. The point is what I'm doing here is what I would teach you to do. Well, what are you saying, Craig? We're going to create videos with you. And I know you might think, I don't like video. I don't like how I look. It's easy to do. Don't worry about that. I don't like how I look or sound either. It's completely normal. But imagine if you created content making these offers, just like I have today. Who would watch them? Buyers and sellers that are interested. Some of the buyers and sellers, see, we can send this out to the masses now, like 100,000 real estate agents will watch what we're doing right now. But we could target all the buyers and sellers, all the homeowners and buyers in your area, and they see you, and some of them are going to like you, and they're going to follow you, and they're going to consume your information. And the crazy thing is, some of them will just start calling you, saying, come and get me, or I'm interested. And when you get to their house, they feel like they know you, right? How many of you have watched a few of my videos and sort of feel like you know me, right? This is what we want. We want, before we arrive at the buyer or seller's home to meet with them, we want them to be predisposed to working with us. We want them to feel like they know us, right? We want them to know something about us. That's why they're going to call you in the first place, because they know you, they like you, they understand what you do and what's different about you, and you're making these really good offers, and they will call you. Once that happens, your business starts to explode. Now, you'll make the mistake that I made. You're going to try to do all the business yourself. I did. I had no money. I was younger. I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids. It's like I've never had money before. I like money. And so here I am. I find myself working 7 days a week. Now, the money was good. Don't get me wrong. And I'm not splitting anything. I don't have any assistants. I don't have any, outside sales agents. I'm just working all the time and I'm keeping the money. But trust me, that gets old. So the leads keep coming in. My business is, I'm overwhelmed. I can't even go out to all the appointments. That sounds crazy, but I physically couldn't go out on all the listings. So I hire an agent under the promise. I couldn't hire them actually because I worked for Remax, so I was never a broker. They just came and partnered up with me. So I worked at Remax, and her name was Lindy Black, so she works at Remax as well. Do you know that first year she made $250,000? And this is when $250,000 was a lot of money. I just fed her the buyer appointments and the listing appointments that I couldn't go on, the overflow. And I took her out and I showed her what I did, just like I would show you how I do it. So this is what I say to sellers. This is what I say to buyers. Here's why I say it that way. Well, after a couple weeks, she was coachable. She is getting the same results that I'm getting. I'm like, wow, because that's not what I thought. How many of you are thinking, well, if I hire somebody else, they're going to mess it all up. Nobody can do it the way that I can do it, right? That's what I thought. But I qualified the seller appointments pretty good, and I would probably list 7 to 8 out of every 10 sellers that I met with because I vetted them. But in short order, Lindy Black is doing the same. And I'm like, wow, the Rainmaker theory says, if you can't change the outcome, don't do it. So I start giving more of the appointments to Lindy and more of the appointments to Lindy, and I'm starting to back off my hours. So now I'm making more money and I have a life, which was really nice. Not too long into this, Lindy comes into my office, hair is all over the place, and she's like, I can't do this. She was overwhelmed. Okay, now she's making like 300 grand a year. For her, we're on a 50-50 split. I'm getting 300 from, and she's making 300. Well, eventually, I had 8 Lindy Blacks. Okay, 8 agents making me 300,000. So if you can do the math, that's $2.4 million without me breaking a sweat, without me working with any buyers or any sellers. So I had a real business. Now, I would still cherry pick the best ones, my friend from high school, relatives. I would cherry pick the A leads. And every once in a while, if I felt like it, I would go out and, make $20 or $30 or $50,000 and keep it all. But I had the choice. I could work as little as I wanted, as much as I wanted. I could take weekends off. How many of you are interested in how to set your business up like that? Because I dominated my marketplace. I had a 15% market share in my city. Now, I want you to think about that. 1-5. That means 15%. I'm not a company. I'm just a guy working at Remax with my little team of 8 agents, and we sold 15% of the homes. 15% of the homes. That means 1 in every 8 sold signs had my name on it. And that's what I did. So that's how I started getting attention from all these other real estate agents all over the country wanting to know, like, how is this guy doing it? What's his secret? So I started doing these little seminars. I think the first seminar I had like 15 agents, and I was very nervous, right? And I'm sharing with everyone what I'm doing. But what was amazing is when I follow it up with the agents that were coming to my training, like within 6 months, they're starting to get the same results as I'm getting. And that's when I knew I'm on to something. This has got nothing to do with Craig, the person. This has everything to do with the system. And all these other coaches out here, here's what they don't have. They don't have a system, right? What they're telling you is how to do better cold calling, or how to do a better open house, right? Or how to work 8 days a week instead of 7 days a week. They're telling you how to do the old school stuff, but do it better. And I have a revolutionary approach for lead generation. I give you a lead generation system, a lead conversion system, because generating the leads without knowing how to convert them is a waste of time, and then a presentation system. When you meet with a buyer or seller, how many of you agree there's probably a best way, right? When I meet with a seller, I need to know exactly what to say, the order to say it, and if I was really good at saying that over and over and over again, I would be unstoppable. In the beginning, my listing presentation was called Wing It. How many of you are using a Wing It presentation, right? You meet with the seller and like you don't know what the hell is going to come out of your mouth. It's pretty exciting, but not very effective, right? So I experimented with my listing presentation, and some of the words that came out of my mouth as I'm watching the seller were better received. It's like, oh, that's kind of working. And then, of course, a lot of the stuff I said fell on deaf ears. I can see their facial expression, they're not really interested. So after years and years and years of experimenting with different words coming out of my mouth and watching the response, what they liked and what they didn't like, I put together the presentation. I kept tweaking it and making it better. And every time I improved it, I would give it to my team members. And now we'd have 8 of us going out and using the same presentation. I made that thing better and better and better until I couldn't make it better anymore. Now, guess what? Now I give it to you. So if you want the market domination report, this is free. Just type in market domination into the comments below. Also, some of you are going to be interested in doing a free breakthrough call with me and my team. If someone could type in proctorsupport.com, no space, just my name, Proctor, Proctor, support, proctorsupport.com. If you click on that link, it's a clickable link, you'll go to my Acuity Daytimer. And for $0 and no commitment, we will meet with you, ask you some questions about your business, where it is now, and your goals, where you want to go. And we'll give you our advice for free on the best way to go from where you are right now to your goal, to where you actually want to go. Now, we're also going to ask you, just so you have a heads up, if you say, well, I'm doing 25 transactions and my goal is 50, we're going to ask you, well, how come you're not already doing 50? And you'll proceed to tell us all the obstacles, all the reasons why you're stuck at 25 and you can't get to 50, and we're going to help you out. Now, why would we do that? Some of you are going to like my advice and my training so much. Again, you're going to be clients. No obligation to do that. But how many of you right now are interested? Type into comments, I'm interested. Okay, you're interested in Craig Proctor. Look it, we've been at this now for, we've been at this now for a half an hour and you're still watching, right? There's all kinds of distractions. You could be doing anything right now, but you're watching this because it's of interest. It's of interest to you. It's something that's really going to make a difference in your business and your life. So proctorsupport.com. Also, I have a private Facebook group. Right now we're on my business page, but how many of you would like to get behind the curtain and meet some of my millionaire agents? Now, obviously this is self-serving, right? If I invite you to rub shoulders and meet with and speak to Craig Proctor coaching members that are making millions of dollars a year, that's self-serving. That's good for me because it's going to give you the social proof, the confidence that you need to know that this is real. So if you'd like to join my private Facebook group, if you could type into the comments below private group, just type in private group and I'll get you an invitation to my private Facebook group. So today we talked about this. We talked about market domination and I shared my story. Why did I succeed? Because I had to, right? Nothing special about me. I did it all wrong. I made all the mistakes. I did exactly what my broker told me to do. I did what my father told me to do, cold call, door knocking, floor time, all that stuff, and I was struggling. All I did was I started to study businesses outside of real estate, and I had an epiphany. There are gazillions of businesses outside of the real estate industry that are super successful selling gazillions of dollars of products and services, and no cold calling or bagging or open houses. That doesn't exist. We're talking about using smart, modern marketing and implementing systems. If I can do this, you can do this. Why did I succeed? Because I had no choice. If you're committed to your success, all you have to do today is say maybe. Book yourself a consultation, proctorsupport.com, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much for watching this. Remember to follow this page, because if you follow it, every time I go live, you're going to see the notification. So thanks so much for being with me. This is Real Estate Coach Craig Proctor. Let me know in the comments below if you found this extremely helpful. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Hi, this is Craig Proctor. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed that video. And listen, I've got a lot more information for you to help you grow your real estate business. You see, several times a week, I record new videos and I load them onto this YouTube channel. What I'd like you to do, if you'd like to access them, are two important things, and both are totally free. Number one is I'd like you to subscribe to this channel. You're going to see a little subscribe button for you to click on. And if you don't already have an account with YouTube, it's free for you to set it up. It's really easy, it's free, but you've got to subscribe to this channel. And the most important thing is to ring the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And that's going to let you know every time I load new money-making videos to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you subscribe right now, you ring the little bell, and we'll see you on the next video.